What can I help you with?
So I had a question about how to get past feeling overwhelmed about pursuing your dream. So one of my biggest dreams is to write a book about dismantling kind of the stigma around mental health, based off... and I want to base it off of my own personal experiences. Okay. So some of my personal experiences are, like, I lost a parent to cancer kind of suddenly. I've dealt with a domestic violence situation, and I kind of want to like talk about how I navigated all of that, and resilience and all that stuff.
Excellent.
But what I find is that whenever I sit down to actually write it, I've sort of started it. I have the title, I have the cover, I have everything. I just get so overwhelmed.
What about the insides?
Yeah, so it's like I like started
That's the hard part for me too. But
yeah, it's just like I get so overwhelmed with like the process. So it's like I'll sit down and start writing, and then in the first place I'm like, is this the right angle? Should I be like, how am I supposed to frame the context of this whole thing? Then I'll get like really, really stressed out about like, how am I gonna get this published? Like, who do I contact? How do I find an editor? What am I supposed to do? And then I'll just stop. And then I feel like I've just been avoiding even sitting down anymore to like start, like continue writing it.
Do you think that there's any part of this that has to do with feeling traumatized when you start to think about writing your story?
Yeah, I think a huge part of it is, I think, the trauma that I feel around voicing what I've been through, I think, because I know in the past it was always, in general, like this is the stigma. There's just people cringe when they're like, domestic violence, oh God. Or they're like, death, oh God. So it's like I've always found it hard to like voice kind of like what the process feels like or what happened. And I think kind of wanting to do this, I think, is also just like me trying to reclaim my power in that realm. But I think that's also very scary. So maybe I'm just making excuses.
No, I don't think you're making excuses. There's a couple things that you're doing, and having helped millions of people, we all get in the same traps. And so the trap that I see is that you're so focused on the outcome that you're not actually doing the process, right, of writing. The second thing is part of being an artist or a writer is struggling with what to say and wrestling with it. And that tension that you feel is part of the creative journey. But what I think is unique to your story, but that a lot of people will relate to, is that you're trying to take something deeply personal and figure out how to package it. And the fact that you already have a cover and you already have a title means you're already focused on what everybody else is going to think. And what I need you to do is to stop thinking about a book. And I want you to think instead about taking on a one-year project where you're going to write every day as a way to free yourself and find your voice. And there is a free website that I use, 750words.com is the name of the website, 750words.com. And it is a platform where you get online and you're just supposed to write stream of conscious, and it counts the words as you're writing them, and and you can save them, but it gets you into a habit of just blah on the paper, because you will never sit down and write something perfectly. And so what I want you to do is give yourself permission to have a project for a year. Forget the cover, forget the title, forget the table of contents. That comes later.
Okay.
Having dyslexia, I feel a lot of friction when I write. And this has helped me build a skill where I write without stopping myself and editing what I just wrote. And so 750words.com, you write 3 pages a day. It becomes a new habit. You learn how to let it come out without editing yourself. And then at the end of the year, you will have a book that then you can come back and edit together. Make sense?
Yeah.
Excellent. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Hi, Lola.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Nice to meet you. Well, you didn't even look at her.
Hi.
Hi.
Seriously. So you've been listening backstage.
Yes.
And were you surprised by anything?
I'm very surprised.
What were you surprised by?
I feel like you've had a lot to say. I've given you an opportunity to say a lot of the things. We have spoken, so I honestly don't know where all this is coming from.
I just haven't had the courage to say, like, I was really hurt seeing the post, and I just thought the best thing for me was just to hold it in.
Okay. But you've been gone for how long?
For a little over 2 years.
Okay, have we communicated in the last 2 years?
Briefly.
When did that post go up?
Not top of my head, I don't.
Okay, it went up this
Why
year.
are you so angry?
Because I don't feel like this is how friends deal with things. She was very aware that him and I have been working together. So, and then the whole mean girl thing, she's the mean girl, actually. This whole sweet on the outside, that's really her.
Yeah, I'm gonna get your side in a second.
Okay.
I can see that you're angry.
I'm very annoyed.
Can you see her lip is quivering and she's sort of shaking? I know, sometimes when we wish we could invoice people for wasting our time, right?
Mel.
Yes, I'm not gonna waste your time and I'm not gonna waste your time. Because the thing is that I do think there is something to learn here that's both personal and business, okay? Why don't you tell me how this grudge started for you?
My thing is, whether or not the conversation happened and it was mentioned, it's like, hey, I'm gonna post this. It's just like out of respect, nah, this is what's about to happen. Because it's like, what happened to our business? What happened to our project? So what happened to NXD Group?
Well, you moved to Ohio. Do you recall that conversation for your 6-figure check? Yeah, you did. You moved. So what did I do? I figured it out. I got another job. I worked on my skill set, and I moved on. I think it's royally unfair for someone to move on with their life and then expect you to be at a standstill for their feelings or whatever. Like, I'm not supposed to move on with my career.
But what about what was best for us? Because we were friends.
But you chose what was best for you. Your 6-figure check was better for you, right?
For me, but I considered us though, because coming back wasn't going to be an issue.
That's your 6-figure check. You still want to work with me and expect me to split that money with you when I'm the one that's going to be on ground doing 80% of the work because you're not here. How is that fair?
Because we're still working together.
But you have a whole nother job in a whole nother state getting a whole nother check while I am still in California doing it by myself.
So is it about the check?
Because you're getting paid. So I have to go on and move on and get paid too.
Do you hear what she's saying?
I'm hearing what she's saying.
What is she saying?
I don't know what she's saying, actually.
Okay, see, that's the thing. Is like it's very hard to resolve an issue when you're not listening.
Yeah.
And it's clear that you have a very particular point of view, and it's interesting to hear you say that you shut down, and at the same time, if for friends, I'm owed an explanation, and yet you're not reaching out to give her one or to ask for one.
Can I also just say, you have gone on to work with other people besides me. You've actually had issues with both those people after working with them, right? Okay.
I'm sensing a pattern here of you get mad at people, you stop talking, and then it somehow becomes their problem. Does that make sense?
A little.
A little bit? Starting to feel familiar?
Yes.
Okay, great. You know, what's interesting to me is that I think women could solve all of the world's problems, but we have to first know how to solve the small issues between us and the people we care about. And, you know, the thing is that it's clear to me that you care deeply about her. This isn't just about the hurt that you feel. I mean, you got on a plane, you wanted my help resolving this.
I mean, it's kind of hard to have a conversation with somebody if they don't really want to see your side.
Wait, but
no, I've heard your side.
And it's just, I just feel like, I don't know, I really just don't really.